and
so that's a legit knife.
Yeah, so this is not a utility knife. The whole purpose of this blade is to penetrate and do damage. It's not to whittle furniture with.
Not to whittle furniture. Yeah, it's a legit knife.
Yeah.
So that thing could definitely cause some damage and incapacitate another human.
Yeah,
what I'm gathering.
It's also good for trimming fingernails.
Is it really? Cool. But the real reason we're here, we're going to talk about that thing over there, which is the covert entry closet.
Not the serial killer closet.
I thought we weren't going to say serial killer closet.
Well,
we just did.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's move on over. All right, boom. We got the Yagi antenna. Yep. And then I had a question about the pineapple.
Yeah, so if you are performing surveillance, wireless surveillance, obviously this is pretty big. So there are a lot of other options that you can use to survey wireless. One is an incredible tool by Hack5. It's called the Wi-Fi pineapple. This is the Nano. It's the tactical. Comes in a case, battery, and the unit itself. So it's pretty nice. You can see the small profile. You can actually hide this in a lot of things. So while you're performing your surveillance, it's not necessarily something that's going to draw attention. Before I start getting into each individual item, I do want to point out it's important how you carry these things. It's important what you have displayed. Obviously, you don't want to walk in with some big, gigantic, tactical militant bag like this, unless that's the environment you're in. But if it's a corporate environment, that's going to stand out. And if you're digging in, grabbing tools, it's going to stand out. So my go-to when I have to have things that I can't hide on me is a simple, like a simple shoulder bag briefcase. I love this thing. It's very versatile. So when it looks professional, wearing a suit, you walk in. I keep these organizers, these gridded organizers. And I'll talk about what's in here in a second. But when you have things in here, I know where everything is. So if I need to grab a keylogger really quick, my hand's here, I can just pull it out and do like the land tap, the Hack5 land turtle, or a key llama keylogger. And so it's helpful to have all these tools positioned in a way where you can grab what you need. I've got another badge cloner. This is the Evil USB, where it's a legitimate USB charging cable, but it actually has a payload in it. And so if you are charging your phone with it, or I have it plugged into your computer for any device, I then can control it via USB with the controller and insert payloads. So there's a lot of different things that we can connect during social engineering attacks, and it's nice to have them positioned in a way where you can access them. You'll see quite a few Hack5 products here. They're great. So this is the USB Rubber Ducky. It looks like a common flash drive.
Yeah.
But there's actual, you can put different micro cards in there with payloads. And this is great. It's basically a wireless version. It's not a Hack5 product. But the great thing about this is you plug it in, it has its own wireless access point. It's seen as a keyboard. There are no known protection tools or anything that will actually stop it. I have seen one that alerts that says that it's an unauthorized device, it's been disabled, but it actually doesn't disable it, and you can still send payloads to it. So yeah. So this is a very low-level bug detector for travel a lot. If I want to see if there's a hidden camera or GPS trackers or some sort of a Wi-Fi device or something, then I'll go with this.
Have you ever found one in a hotel when you do a scan for it?
I have not.
Okay.
Luckily, I have not. And I have a few different versions of Proxmark badge cloners that I'll show you. This is Proxmark 3 Easy. It's got a low profile. It's great for hiding in several things.
Like coffee cups?
Yeah, I thought you've seen that.
I've seen you do that before.
Yeah. So we do have a talk, Tim Roberts and I have a talk where we discuss ways to hide badge cloners and different methods to discreetly capture credentials. So again, this bag, something like it is great.
Right. So no tactical assault bag with DEF CON stickers on it.
Yes.
Use professional man bag or whatever you want to call this thing, right?
Man purse. A merce.
Merce?
Yeah.
Gotta fit in, baby.
Yeah. Here's another bag that's similar. This is actually a very cool tool. This is by Philip Boss. It's called the Boss Cloner. And the great thing about this, it has the Proxmark reader in it. That's this size.
Yeah. Right.
So this is a badge cloner. My version has a Raspberry Pi inside of it. I connect to it through Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I've seen you create that thing.
Yeah.
Like the inside of it. Pretty interesting. Yeah.
The same thing is inside here, but the really cool thing about this that he designed it to do is if I brush up against you on this side and I capture your card, your credentials, what's happening on the inside is there is an antenna that's actually riding to a blank card. So I control it through my cell phone. I tell it to clone the badge I just captured. I can then reach in here and grab this card and use it against the reader.
Oh, wow.
To emulate the credentials that I just grabbed. So, and again, the bag that it comes into is pretty handy. It's it's good for many of the same reasons as the man purse I just showed you. All right. Badge cloning. Before we move on from that, here's an older version, the Proxmark. The cool thing about this is the antennas come off easily. So one of the things that we'll do, and you might have seen it in another talk that we've done, is we'll take these off, again, the coffee cup, or one of our personal favorites is to grab a clipboard. And what we will do, as you can see the gaffer tape in here, but we'll put the board here, and then we'll put the antennas here, and then a battery pack here. And then when we'll put, papers or surveys or something that looks legitimate over the top of it and close it. And then as you're walking around, it's a bit more natural if you accidentally, brush up against someone with this. Same concept as with the bag. You can also put, some tools and things inside there too if you need.
Yeah, so I imagine getting on an elevator with people is pretty easy to
Yes.
use these things.
So one of the things during initial reconnaissance or surveillance is you can find out where the employees frequent. If there's a coffee shop they go to in the mornings or a popular spot for lunch, especially one with lines, then it really improves your chances of cloning badges. Okay, let's see. Moving along. One of the most common attacks. Canned air. So what you do is if you find a request to exit sensor over a door, you turn it upside down and spray it, and it uses two factors before it will actually trigger. So you have your motion and then you have your temperature variance. And so because this is so cold, it's colder than the standard room temperature. So it sees the motion and temperature variance, and it will trigger that. If it's configured incorrectly, it will actually unlock the door. Excuse me. It will actually unlock the door, and then you can open it. One of the things that I've started to see at certain places is the straw that usually comes with these, with weather stripping, which is not really a security feature, but if they have weather stripping or if they've actually configured the door pretty well and there's not a lot of gap, this won't fit in there and it won't be flexible. So what I've done is I have found this shop straw, and basically it's a very thin version. It's a very thin tube that I have not met a door where I couldn't at least put this in the corner in the bottom.
Yeah.
and then, worm my way through with it and spray. Now, because the diameter is smaller, the air doesn't come out as much, but it's still enough to trigger the request for exit sensor. So it's a little pro tip there. Let's see. Sometimes you'll find those like freebies when you're on an assessment, like an external door with the door hinges exposed. And this very, very super high-tech tool, it's called a Bang It. You just put it on the hinge pin and you pop it off with a hammer and remove the door. So it's kind of a freebie. I've had a few people ask me about these devices because, with the last podcast that we did and some pictures that have been posted, these are some tools for alarm bypassing. I'm not going to really get into specifics, but these are ways that we can help to prevent certain plungers and things from being activated when opening doors, as well as certain frequencies. So. Hand warmers. Hand warmers is pretty, this is similar attack to this. So if you have a gap big enough, I've actually, there's a video on YouTube that I've posted where I use the wire from my under the door tool and I put a hand warmer on it. I'm just dropping everything. Put a hand warmer on it and slide it under a server cage, and it still trips the request to exit sensor. Again, you have the motion, and then the heat is the temperature variance that triggers that request to exit sensor. So always keep some of those handy. While I have it, it's the under the door tool. I just have this clip on here. That way, when I put it in my bag, because it's not the most travel friendly tool, it keeps it from popping out and smacking me in the face, which has happened more than once. So basically, if you're not familiar with the under the door tool, it's best for lever handle doors, which are found in pretty much everywhere, hotels, office buildings. So you put it underneath the door, you slide it up to where the lever handle is, and you put a wire on the top, and once you have it around the lever handle, you pull down and it will open the handle from the inside. This is something you can pick up at Home Depot or Walmart or anywhere. This is actually a really cheap like yard decoration to hang like a little potted plant or a flag or something. This also is useful for pulling the safety latches from garage doors. So if you encounter an area where you don't have the garage door opener or a code, then you can go over the top, and the cord you can pull down to disconnect it from the motor, you can catch it with this and pull it and then just lift the door up. So I'm trying to think of some more of the bypass tools for the... Okay, sorry, there's a bunch. There's a lot to go through here. So this is the J tool. So when you see doors that are like the double crash bar doors, like the long bar that you push to open, if you see two sets of doors, which is very common in public places like let's say schools or even conference centers, things like that, what you can do is you push this between the two doors. You then rotate this where it's going along the crash bar, and you pull it in, and it presses the crash bar from the inside. And I have a video demonstration of this on the We Hack People YouTube as well. Because this is a big profile, there's a lot of research that I've been doing to get my tools where I can hopefully have them hidden on me somehow. So this is a smaller version of this that I've made, and it's just a low-grade wire, and I put heat shrink on each side to prevent scratching. So basically does the same thing, but it's a smaller profile. It was a lot cheaper too. More with door bypass. This is the thumb turner tool. In a lot of retail locations, they have the deadbolt from the inside. They'll have the two glass doors separated by a very thin, like, weather stripping. So what you can do is you push this between the doors. You then spin it around and get it over the thumb tool for the deadbolt. And once you have it around that, then you turn this handle and it will unlock the deadbolt.
Wow.
Yeah, so. Moving on to more door bypasses, we'll go to what's called latch slipping. It's basically upgraded versions of the credit card trick. You know, if you forget your keys, put a credit card in and open the door. These are a little more sophisticated than that. So this is the shove knife, and this allows you to open doors to, latch slipping. So basically you go between a door, you get the latch and you can push it open if it's externally facing, or go over and pull it towards you if it's internally facing. Not the smallest profile, but I do have a smaller version of this that I keep. If you encounter that, if you can't use that attack because there is a latch guard plate in the way, then all you have to do is simply go over the latch guard and press down and it will slip the latch for you. There's also a video of that. Because this looks like a weapon and it's not something you can easily travel with or walk around somewhere like New York or Washington, D.C. with and, not raise some eyebrows, you can also resort to this very high-tech piece of clothes hanger wire. So just clothes hanger wire, I cut off at the bottom. If you just put a slight bend in it, you can then go over the latch guard and slip the latch that way as well. So you can see it's been used quite a few times. Yep. Okay. Adding on to that, there's many different techniques for latch slipping, all because door frames and things. There's always a slightly different profile. So, shrum tool, or what's also called the traveler's hook. It's also a way, if you put this between the door, then you can push against the latch and open the door. The larger one is good for that, as well as other attacks, being able to pull handles, certain things. So these are great. This is a magnetic surge pole. This is also used for certain alarm bypassing, for locating sensors, alarm sensors on doors, door frames as well. This is my key ring that I carry with me. You can see it has a few different like warded lock picks, wafer picks, and then some jigglers. These jigglers are great. This one is my favorite. You can open quite a bit of things with this, including some master locks and a lot of different things, wafer locks. So if I had to cut out from all of these, it would be this guy. Now, Deviant Ollam has done some research for items that are key to like. You can watch his talk on that, but basically, door keying access control systems use a lot of the same master keys, as well as the C415A and then the CH751. These are very common for filing cabinets, alarm panels, even jukeboxes and RVs, many different things. I also keep gaffer tape rolled up. Gaffer tape is really good for weakening magnetic locks. It's also good for maintaining access and certain alarm bypass techniques as well. Quick multi-tool. It's pretty handy. Master key and quick set bump keys. Those are pretty commonly found. Flashlight for obvious reasons. And then this is a UV light. One of the things that I've done some research on is if you have an access control where it's a pin pad that's required, you can go up to it and use a Sharpie. It can't be the smudge-free Sharpies. Those don't work. But if you can find an older Sharpie, you can go up and you can color in the buttons on the pin pad. Then you can wait up to 10-15 minutes. And if someone goes in and they push in their code, you then can come up behind them, shine the UV light on it, and you can see their fingerprints on the buttons they push, which helps you to reduce your amount of guesses for that door.